Well, all I can see is a white screen, right? So I'm in total whiteness. Today's I think it's it's Thursday, 27th of February. Just a shout out, hello. Hey, you, Rocksteady crew. One time for your crooked mind, I'm just a blast from the past, didn't think about that. Say, hey, there's this new karaoke app thing, right? It's about £45-ish, give it per year. And it allows you to kind of do duets and kind of karaoke, like from your kind of sitting rooms or wherever, or from the park and all that. I'm thinking about it might get the dollars bucks from us for a year's VIP thing. So then I can, like, it's duet, it's called Smule. So it's, again, a little advertisement, so give us free subscription. Anyways, I'm thinking about subscribing. Aye. Yeah, just wait and kind of like sing along with Maxie, and I'm a sin. You see me say, see my sin. I'm smoking a cigarette. I'm trying to think, right? You know, like, oh, by the way, important message, right? It's zeros. You tell me, right? Inbox me, right? What a zero looks like. You won't find it on your buttons to press. A zero has a diagonal line through it, going from kind of like 1 o'clock like that. Hiya, going down across. As above, as below. You won't realize, right, the infinite importance of knowing what a zero looks like. Because in a world where we need numbers as mathematics as a tool, a numerical, that's like a big word. How the hell are you going to tell the difference between ocular O from once upon a time? We were petrified. Kept thinking I had ICI and IBM and by my side. I kept thinking of all those things, how you did me wrong and I grew strong. Because loads of deaths happened. Like, people died. Like, if you're working in a petrochemical company, and you go into the stores, right? You've got your little chitty, right? And you've got some calculus, right? And they're making stuff, mixtures, solutions, fluids, drogans, all sorts of things. You need to know the difference between an O, and we all have different handwriting. Some can be ocular O, which is, I wish I could write on my screen. It's like ocular O. It's kind of like, it's like an oval shape, right? From once upon a time. You need to know the difference, especially if you've got like, you know, I hope you understand the importance of it, because it was in the teaching, in the curriculum, in mathematics. It would be the O levels, right? I got a GCSE, I got an E for my maths, right? But when I was younger, I was in, it was a school called Mortimer. I was in the juniors. And there was this line, right, going through. We were in a maths lesson. I remember putting my hand up and going, why is there a line through it? I didn't even have the word diagonal to my vocabulary. I put my hand up, why is there a line through it? And I got told, because the banks couldn't tell the difference. Now, I interpreted that as, because I was already a brick with the building of bank, I interpreted it as sweets and confectionery. We want money, right? This non-existent money to go and buy and purchase things. Now, you won't realise the importance of knowing the difference between a zero and an O. Ocular O, of the ocular eyes. And I'd love to know, any listeners out there, what a zero looks like, so I can touch it if I was blind. Because it doesn't matter whether you got eyesight or you don't have eyesight, you need to know the difference between a letter of the alphabet, I just spat on my screen there, a letter of the alphabet and a number. And all you thinking that I'm loco, crazy, dementia, verrückt, think again, and I'll tell you why. You sharp know when it goes to zero temperature and you've got your water out there with your ice to make ice cup, right, for your meteorological blooming things, right, and your cold weather payments, and I keep it straight. And the importance of zero is mega massive. As above, as below. I'll give you an example if I can find it. Yes, I can give you an example. Right. I went to the bank and I told personnel employees at the bank, and I also did blogs about it, right? Because it got us disturbed. It got us emotionally worried, because I know the gravitas of it, the importance of knowing zero, the importance, even ground zero, sadly, right, where there were not the twin towers of Gemini 6. There were the trade towers, the equivalent of like the square mile of London, where they do the stock markets. They were known as the trade towers, just to keep that one straight. Yes, and never mind the Mandela effect, right? Because the Mandela is also like an amulet, kind of like, yeah, anyways. Right, the importance of zero. Ground zero, they don't even have a zero, they're all word up. Z, E, U, O, or Z, E, R, O. They've got it in word. Now here's the example. Hang on, I've got a ciggy in my hand. Now this, like, I'm not Doctor Who with the female character, right? But I feel like there's a calling of the importance, because it's not even in the A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. You need mathematics, you need a starting point, and you need 0. Right, anyways, you show me where 0 is on this. That's ocular O. She's fuming. She's raging. Ocular O! They're going around pretending to be 0. Now, that's a card reader from Barclays. As you can see, where is 0? It's not there to press. You've got an O from Once Upon a Time, Disney. Once upon a time, we were petrified. Kept thinking I had ICI and IBM. Those are companies, ICI, a petrochemical company, blue chip company. IBM, computational computer company, and IBM by my side. And the binary code of 1s and 0s, they didn't even have a 0 to start with in the textbooks from school. They had ocular O. Now, as you put your card reader in, on the light crystal display, which is this bit, which I'm moving my little finger on, they've got a real 0. It's got a diagonal line. If we were to walk around the clock, it'll be from 1 o'clock to 7 o'clock. There was only 170s in Silicon Valley. A message to you from Lisa. Please amend this and start making a button of real 0 that we can press. Because oxygen, I'm in the stores here, right, and I'm working at a petrochemical company, right, in chemical reaction, and I've looked at it, right, while going getting all the ingredients as 0, or as oxygen, or oxide, or all these chemicals, and I don't know them, right, but then it all goes in the mix. Then it gets hatched, batched, dispatched, right, and some things have chemical reaction and boom, and we're all dead. It happened before in the 70s. It was a calling. It's a message that needs to be spread as above as below. As above as below. Look at it. Where do you see 0 there? Real close up. No, you see ocular O. Once. From once upon a time. A 0. You have something you can tell the difference between a letter of the alphabet. Numbers are numbers. They're a tool for science, mathematics. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Even the ABCs, even in the nursery, we weren't taught 0. We weren't, right? And I put my hand up on more of my infants, right? More of my juniors, should I say? Because there's this oddity of line going through. And I asked the teacher, like I said earlier in this video, why is there a line through it? And I got told it's because the banks couldn't tell the difference. Now this is a bank, and some say bank 0, and they're all conceded, yes, we know, we already know it, you just don't know it. Here's a product. I went to Barclays, South Shields. The importance of knowing 0. And did you know that there's a function in a calculator? And do you know how to divide by 0? Most of you you'll think to yourself, how can you share by nothing? It's like, why is there a function on a calculator of sharing by 0? It's like, Geet Headrod, pure lie, I'll tell you the importance. Now, at age 15, I didn't know how to share by nothing. And hey, yeah, when it's nothing at all. But I knew that it didn't matter that I didn't understand and I didn't know why and how to use on a calculator. How to share by nothing, 0. I couldn't work it out, but one thing I did know and I was certain about, and that was the importance that it had to be in a calculator. It had to be to share by 0, to share by, as some would say, nothing. Give you a prime example, right? There's 24 stops on a train, and 400 passengers get on the train at stop 1, right? And they move along to the next one. How many passengers got off the second stop? None, which is spelled N-O-N-E, not the French no, N-O-N. None got off, so then you've shared by 0. We want to get to our destination and all safe and not crash and collision. That's how you share by 0. Or a burning building. How many is in the building? Let's say 10. How many came out? And you share by 0. None. They're still in the burning building at an X10. At an X Roman numeral. Get them out. Anyways, the train, like I said, of 24 stops. You go to the second stop, there's still 400 passengers on. Did any get off at position 2? The second stop? No. So then you share by 0. And anyway, in my story, in my scenario talked out, they all reached the destination, all 400, with a few surprises. Yes, there was some that nicked on the metro, they nicked on the train, they nicked on the la gare, or whatever you want to call it. Yes, and there was also different species. There was a dog and a cat and a baba, a half fae. And there was other shit in the bring as the train stopped, right, thinking the chickies were going to get on. Anyway, that's how you share by zero. How can you share by nothing? It's like, I'm bamboozled, right? I remember reading a magazine, I was a Whitburn Comprehensive, and I read it. And it was like, it has the exclusive, it was an old magazine advertising products. Exclusive. It has the divide by zero function button. Now those that went through the T9 you might be able to empathise with. Get it off T9, I can't use the T9, I don't know what it's for. And there was this YouTube video, right, in the Here Now, about a year ago. And it was a blast from the past. I was like, I remember that. The zero function button that was in calculators. And I couldn't work out, age 15, when I was in Miss Wilburn's and Mr. Curran's mathematics, what the function was, the use of sharing by zero, because zero was nothing. But one thing I was certain of, based on knowing that you need zero as a starting point, and it's a tool. And it was manually important. Just because me couldn't work it out, I wasn't flipping and I wasn't knee-jerk reaction. Just because it was not obsolete. Just because I couldn't work out how the maths of it and how to apply it, because I was pretty linear and kind of, I got an E for mathematics, I got an A for English, and I was indefinitely suspended. Anyways, as I said, zero needs to be reinstated. The saying as above as below is so important. Like, that's me going to you've sent me off to the shop, right, and I've come back with oxygen when you wanted nothing. You wanted zero. And I lost a fiver in space. It's like, Lisa, what do you mean you lost a fiver in space? What kind of thing space is above? You know, we're going up in the rockets, right, we're geet. Up and away. We're going off in a rocket and we're going to strange kind of lost in space, right, where I was going to enter the competition as well for Challenger. It was on newsround, straight. But I had 11 years wait. Entries, it was like the free ticket for Challenger 2, I think it was, and I would have been in the age of 6 or 7 or something, and I was watching Newsround, and I was all prepared because it was advertised on the Thursday on Newsround, and I had to wait all the way to the Tuesday. We had our separate private lives. Little did the parents know, and even my great friend who's passed now, Alan Parker, in the South Shield Space Centre, he only found out about me wanting to go up in the rocket because it was like a Willy Wonka golden ticket advertised BBC One on Newsround. It was a Thursday and I had my pencil and I also had my paper at hand ready. I'm like this, back from school on the Tuesday. My separate lives, we're going to live in separate lives. And there I was, waiting, ready. And unfortunately it was wah, 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 wah. Entrance must be 18 or over. And I'm thinking to myself, an unworded thought matter. I can bring it to word now, my thought. I can transform it. I can codex it, right, to word. It was like, you know, your target audience was straight back from school. It's targeted at persons who go to school, Newsround. It's on a tea time. I was 11 years wait, so that means I was 7-year-old. I was 7-year-old. And I'm like 18. And 11 years was Jalemba. It was infinity, eternity away. And I was like, I was really peeved about Newsround advertising this golden ticket, right? Members of the general public can join NASA. It was like, yes, right. So I envisaged it like Blue Peter Studio, and they've got all the sacks, but bigger than that, like a hangar for a big massive Boeing 747 or 808, right? Anyways, I would like to have been an astrozero, not an astronaut, and back to zero. Anyways, the Challenger thing, I was 11 years out, and I was like, well, I'm too little to enter, you little cunts, you little shits. Newsround, like, what on earth are you playing at? Your target audience is those that come back from school, but the minimum age for entry is 18, and I was like, huh? And I even had my pencil, and I even had, like, teenage toss turn starter burn. I was that excited, I couldn't wait for the episode, right? On the Tuesday, I would have been in Mortimer, I think it was before I went to St Anne's, to get the details right of the entry. But the funny thing was, and you can find it in the archives of the BBC, there was stamped addressed envelope, but it went somewhere like Essex or Bristol. It didn't even go central London. I thought, who's this middle person's? This middle management things? Why is it not an American address? And from my own memory, and I haven't found the archives, like, because I haven't searched for it, I'm like, why is it not got American address that you send your stamp, right? One stamp, you have to put a stamp inside the letter thing, so they can post back thing. And you know, and you know, right? So I think they were just, who wants to go up in space? And they were just trying to find numbers, right? It was on Newsround. It would have been about 6 months to a year before. Now anyways, more seriously, and the O-rings, How cliche. O-rings. Some say that it was the O-rings that failed on Challenger 2. I was at Homefield Avenue, South Shields, years ago, right? It would have been about 1987, 1986, when Challenger 2 exploded. Anyway, I was sitting in amongst the Simpsons, kind of the 2.4 at daylight, and Challenger went up. Get exciting with the countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, lift off. And it went up, and I'm like, well, hey, and I'm thinking, and I wasn't old enough to enter the competition, right? Whatever age I was, you just can work it out. I was born 1978. And then it went off. It went as a ooh. It went like a ooh. It went up from the camera view of the, and went a ooh. And it was like, and none went, that's not meant to happen. Like an Andrew and an Anita and a Roy. That's not meant to happen. None of them were so quiet. And my AKA folks, my AKA Vo, otherwise known as, you know what, we're like, we're all independent and for cook, all of that, yeah, from religion and all that. None of us have any. We've got faith and we're just LOVE. Anyways, there was the quietness. And it was like the camera view of what was televised. It was before Sky Dishes, this was going on. It was just the aerials up at the top. And we remember the coat hangers. And I was like, I was thinking about myself and my own bones. And that could have been me. Yeah. And I was quiet. And we were all quiet. And so was the newscaster person that was there live. I don't know if it was the Kennedy or the other one. And it was like, it was really emotional. And then I've forgotten all of the crew, the space crew. Yeah. But anyway, newsround, and I'm straight, I'm not a liar, right? I was 11 years old. And then I've forgotten the whole crew. I was a teacher kind of looking with the 80s hair, like out of the fictional story Monster, based on true story. And the hair like that, right? Kind of Tomorrow's Worldish, right? Yeah, the crew of the business company NASA, right? And keep whatever NASA, right? Because this later I wanted to be an astrozero. Never will you be allowed to call it astronaut. Cosmo Zero, astrozero. Yeah, and it was like, oh, if I remember me, because I can't forget you. Does my image cross your mind often? Remember me, because you're inside my dreams, and when we kiss, and I'll always remember. I always remember. Please remember me. It's a song, right? But it's more Titanic. That's by China Phillips. Remember me. Totally emotional. It was before the Celine Dion Titanic one. I went like, it was total blast from the past, right? You know, like regression, and the importance of zero. I haven't detracted and went off at a tangent of speech. Know what zero looks like. Just know what zero looks like. Look, never mind your Vogue. It'll save it all, right? A zero. A zero, it's different from a letter. And aren't we really deficient and impoverished that the only means of communication is words? We're so word dependent. Anyway, I was going to sing a song, but I thought it came out, right? Zero. Please pass it on what zero looks like. Just like random, just go, I'm wondering, like, what zero look like? Like, it's a number. Can you show us? And they'll all be O's. And also in graphology, right? If you know anything about if the O's got a little, it's no secret. Zero is. It's a tool of the science we needed. Minus zero. If you ain't even got zero to start with, we're in trouble. Because they've all went out pop products. This is an example of pop products. As above, as below. It'll show it. It's going to collide. Alpha numerical. It's going to collide. So please, right, pass on this message. It's all about the zero. Because something while watching and listening, right, it was like premonition. But don't forget the omen. When I was watching Tomorrow's World. Anyway, a zero has a diagonal freaking line through it. I thought you were after oxidized, or I thought all of those words beginning with O, right, of items and objects. No, it was nothing. It was a space. It was a P0 spacer. And even Ames Mathematics, unfortunately, right, and they really spaced me out, right? Even they didn't have a pot to piss in. American Institute of Mathematics, and I'm looking on the screen, right, searching for zero, and it was like X, if P be a constant zero, which is called algebra. I was like, why are they messing with letters? Just let a letter be a letter, right, and a number be a number. If P be token zero constant, so algebra substitution. P equals a constant zero until you attach form to it, until you piff, paff, poof it. And I'm searching on this Ames Mathematics thing, and I'm like, and there was the like I didn't have a white tea of opium. I was like so angry at American Institute of Mathematics. They didn't have a pot of piss in. They showed me no zero. We need to know the difference between a letter and a letter of the alphabet. Otherwise, like,